of one major American city. Is that too much to ask for? Is it?
Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of Digital Fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn. Today's deck is our second brew for Outlaws of Thunder Junction, and it is a doozy. This one's called Double Dragon, and the idea here is we're using Terror of the Peaks, but we're able to take advantage of it the very turn it comes down with an insane amount of plot craziness. Plot is absolutely busted. This deck is just going to show you how far we can take it, especially when we throw Doc Aurlock into the mix. But before we get into the deck and break it down, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Every single like helps this video get out to so many more people, and I really need the help right now, so thank you to those that do it. It means a lot. This channel is growing specifically because of you guys, so thank you. If you're new, subscribe because I have a whole bunch of deck techs coming. Seriously though, you're not ready. Before we dig in, I just want to give a huge shout out to my patrons over at patreon.com/quarantinedcapricorn. That's Yuck, Fuzi, Hector, and Kalen at the Brew Crew Elite tier. And then of course, our forever CPU savior, 𝑇𝑒𝑟𝑟𝑎𝑐ℎ. Thank you guys so much for your contributions. You are helping to keep this channel alive, and I appreciate it greatly. And on that note, we've also launched channel memberships. And there's a lot of cool perks with channel memberships. So if you guys want to become a channel member, you get to vote on new brews every season. At the beginning of every season, you get to vote on which ones you want to see first so that you don't have to wait. But there's a lot of other cool perks too, like you can actively submit 24/7 decks for me to analyze and critique and give you my 2 cents on, you know, make suggestions and edits and ideas for your decks and help your decks become better. You get access to that just being a channel member at any level. But then there's even bigger levels where you can submit actual decks for me to make a deck tech video of once a month. So if you're interested in supporting the channel, helping me keep this channel going full time, definitely check out the channel memberships. There's a lot of cool stuff over there. And if we hit 100 channel members, this channel will become full time. There will be a full length video upload every single day, and live streams will come to YouTube instead of just being stuck over on Twitch. So if any of that interests you, make sure to become a channel member. Help me out. It does help me a ton, and I appreciate it. But with all that out of the way, catch me live Monday through Friday on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/quarantinecapricorn, because if I'm alive and I'm breathing, I'm there and I'm streaming. Unless we hit our goals and I'm streaming over here, which would be cool, I'll see you there. Let's break down the deck. So the idea behind this deck is to kind of combo out by plotting a bunch of cards into exile, and then on one turn just jamming them all on the field and getting a ridiculous amount of payoff, sometimes just ending the game. And the key build around card here is Terror of the Peaks. 5 mana for a 5/4 flying dragon. This is a reprint, but it is back in standard because of Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Spells your opponent casts that target it cost an additional 3 life to cast, and then whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Terror of the Peaks deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target. So the idea here is anything comes down, any creature at all that you play, you're going to be able to do direct damage equal to the power, either to their face to close out the game, or you can actually use it as removal as well. So depending on, you know, what the board state looks like and what you need to use it for, you can get a lot of value out of Terror of the Peaks. The one big problem Terror has always had is you play it on turn 5 because you want it down ASAP, right? So that you can get the most value off all of your subsequent creatures. But then they just kill it before you have any time to cast anything and get value off of it. And we're solving that with plot. So we have a couple of key plot cards. Visage Bandit for 4 mana. It's a 2/2 shapeshifter rogue. It enters as a copy of a creature you control, except it's a shapeshifter rogue in addition to its other types. So this can come in like any other 4 mana clone. There's plenty of them in standard right now. This can come in and become a copy of Terror of the Peaks, not only dealing 5 itself because it will have 5 power and trigger the first one, but then it will be a copy of the Terror, which means now every creature you play after is gonna get 2 Terror of the Peaks triggers off of each copy of the Terror, which can be game breaking when you combine it with a bunch of other plotted creatures, right? Another notable one being Outcaster Trailblazer. Now this isn't necessarily becoming a copy of Terror of the Peaks, but this gives you a ton of value as well. When it comes into play and they have you have a Terror of the Peaks on the battlefield already, you can do 4 damage to whatever you want. It does have a high power. When it enters the battlefield, you add 1 mana of any color, and whenever another creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, you get to draw a card. So this is a way to, you're not necessarily making more value off your Terror of the Peaks by making a copy of it, but you're kind of going the opposite direction where you're able to get your Terror of the Peaks down early because of Outcaster Trailblazer. So what you can do is, you know, plot this on 3, and then on turn 4 you can play the Trailblazer for free, generate an extra mana, but you didn't spend any mana that turn because you cast it for free from exile, and then you have your 5 mana on turn 4 without any other kind of ramp at all to just play your Terror of the Peaks out. And if you happen to have another thing plotted, you can then play that other spell that's plotted for free as well and trigger the Terror of the Peaks, and if it's 4 or more power, will also trigger the Trailblazer and draw you a card. But playing a Terror of the Peaks alone off the back of a Trailblazer's mana lets you draw that 1 card off the Trailblazer at least, which can get really crazy. And also sometimes when we don't have our Terror, we can just go off by playing Trailblazer and then using Visage Bandit to copy the Trailblazer, and then you start to make more copies and you can kind of exponentially get out of control. And there's a couple other ways we can do that too. We'll get into that a little bit later, but first of all, plot 3. Plot 3. We're seeing a pattern, and that's because we have Doc Aurlock. Now, all of the value we've talked about so far is pretty insane in and of itself, but Doc Aurlock is what lets us turn it up to 11 and just completely gas up the deck to doing crazy things. 2 mana for a 2/3 legendary Bear Druid. Spells you cast from your graveyard or from exile cost 2 less to cast. That's not really relevant here. Plotting cards from your hand costs 2 less. So if you're able to play a Doc Aurlock on turn 2 and get it to stick on the board, you can plot a 3 mana plot cost card for just 1 mana. So if you turn 2 Doc Aurlock, you can play 3 Visage Bandits. You can plot all 3 of them for 1 mana each on turn 3. Or 3 Trailblazers, or some combination of them. And what you're going to see in this deck is we're prioritizing cards that have a plot cost of 3 because of that. They get the absolute most reduction possible from Doc Aurlock, and we can set up for some crazy, crazy, crazy turns. Turn 2 Aurlock, turn 3 plot 3 plot creatures, turn 4 play the Trailblazer, play the Terror, play our other plot creatures. It can get really, really nutty really, really quick. But let's go back to the bottom of the curve and talk about our other card choices, because they all kind of take the basic concept we're utilizing here and just turn it up to 11. So first up in the 2-drop slot, we've got Breakout. I considered a mana dork because sometimes if we don't have the Trailblazer, it can be hard getting to that 5th mana for Terror, and you have some plot cards sitting in exile that aren't as useful as they would be if you could just play the Terror. But I realized Breakout is actually better than a mana dork, because this is 4 copies of a 2 mana thing that looks at the top 6 cards of our library. If we can find a creature card that costs 2 or less, we get to put it on the battlefield and give it haste, which is kind of cool. And then if it doesn't cost 2 or less, if it costs more than 2, we can just put it into our hand. So not only is this a way on curve, if we don't have our Doc Aurlock, we play this, we dig 6 cards and find our Doc Aurlock and get it onto the battlefield. So it's almost like having 8 copies of Doc Aurlock, but we do have other 2-drops to hit with this as well. And then a little bit later in the game, it has a dual function where if we just need our Terror of the Peaks or a Trailblazer or a specific card to just go off in the moment, we can break out, search the top 6 cards, find the best creature, and just kind of use it as a tutor, put it into our hand. So being able to functionally be our 5th through 8th copies of Doc Aurlock while also later in the game being a tutor for Terror of the Peaks or whatever else makes this card a breakout edition. Oh god. Anyway, another crazy card is Saheeli the Sun's Brilliance, because if we have this down, we can tap it and 2 mana to make a token that's a copy of another creature or artifact, but it only sticks on the battlefield for 1 turn, right? But if we have Saheeli down and we have Terror of the Peaks down, we can pay 2 mana to make a copy of Terror of the Peaks before we plot out all our creatures and get those double triggers like we were talking about. Not only that, but even outside of Terror of the Peaks, we can do copies of Outcaster Trailblazer, draw extra cards, make extra mana. Like, we can do some really, really crazy stuff with Saheeli. That being said, it is legendary. We don't ever want to be stuck with a dead card in our hand, so I think just one copy is fine. But that's going to bring us to Raging Battlemouse. This is one card I'm considering actually increasing to a 4 count, but for this deck, we're using it just as a 2 of. But it's actually really, really good in this deck, way more than you'd expect. So, 2 mana for a 2/1, has Celebration, so at the beginning of combat, if you've played 2 or more non-land permanents, you can give something +1/+1 until end of turn, which is a nice little bit of extra value, because when you're plotting stuff, it's really easy to double spell. But also, the second spell you cast each turn costs one less to cast, so if you have a Raging Battlemouse on the battlefield, and you play any of your plot cards from exile, it's going to count as playing your first spell, which means your second spell will now cost 1 less. It's almost like getting a mana. It's almost like turning any of your plot cards into a Trailblazer. When you play it from exile, you get a mana. You don't actually get a mana. You reduce the cost of the next spell by 1, but it's effectively the same thing, right? Even if you don't have a Trailblazer plotted, you have just a different plot 3 plot card plotted. You play that for free, trigger the Battlemouse, and now if you have your Terror of the Peaks in the hand, you can play it for 4 mana instead of 5. So it's almost as good as the Trailblazer, and I'm really considering going up to 4 copies because of that. And it's another thing we can make a copy of with Saheeli to get some extra value on a turn we're going to play a plot thing. There's just so many ways these cards interact and synergize, it gets kind of crazy. So I'm thinking about this going up to 4, but in the version that we played that you're going to see in the gameplay in this video, we were running 2. We also have 4 Cunning Coyote. Now this only has a plot of 2, so we're not getting as much of a cost reduction with Doc Aurlock here, but it's still too good to not use. So 2 mana for 2/2 haste. You can plot it for 2. When it enters the battlefield, you have to give something else haste and +1/+1 until end of turn. So this is a cool way of, like, when you go off and play a bunch of creatures from plot, you can give your biggest creature haste and a little bit of a buff to swing in and finish out the opponent if triggering your terror wasn't quite enough to get there, which can be kind of crazy. But you can also do stuff like give haste to Saheeli so that you can immediately use it the turn that you played it and make a copy of something, and that can be pretty cool too. So I think Cunning Coyote is really good in this deck. But again, Raging Battlemouse I think might need to come up to 4, but it was really good as a 2 of in this build. Moving on, we've got 3 Tumbleweed Rising, because this plots for 3, and it makes an XX green elemental creature token where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. This is super crucial as well, because if we have a Terror of the Peaks out, we make a 5/5 for just 2 mana, or for 0 if we plotted it, and again, it's something that has plot 3 that we can plot for just that 1 mana if we have a Doc Aurlock in play. So I think it is a really important inclusion. That being said, it's only good when we have another big creature in play, so we don't want too many of these, because if it's all we have after like a sweeper or something, it's going to be rough. So I did stick to just 3. And then we also have Stingerback Terror. 2 red and 2 for a 7/7 Scorpion Dragon with Flying and Trample. It gets -1/-1 for each card in your hand, and this is again another thing that plots for 3, which is crucial. So you can just plot it for 1 mana if you have Doc Aurlock out, and this card is great. I considered playing a lot more of these, but it is only useful in specific scenarios where you finally got your whole hand played out, or at least plotted, and you're very low on cards. Then this thing is insane and can do a lot for your deck. It can draw cards off Trailblazer. It can trigger Terror of the Peaks for potentially up to 7 damage, which can be bananas. It can get haste as a 7/7 from the Coyote, so it can do a lot of work, but again, kind of like Tumbleweed Rising, it only gets the maximum amount of value if you're in specific situations, so I don't want to go too crazy. That being said, Stingerback Terror is another card along with the Raging Battlemouse that I would consider putting more in, at least testing in a future build, because it does have a lot of potential. But it, along with the Tumbleweed Rising, can both trigger all of the things we want. We can get a ton of damage off Terror. Tumbleweed Rising even triggers a Trailblazer. If just the Trailblazer is the only thing on the battlefield, the Tumbleweed Rising will still make a 4/4, which triggers the Trailblazer and draws us a card. So just a lot of synergy in this deck, a lot of crazy things happening. And again, going back to needing to get enough mana for that Terror of the Peaks and needing to play a bunch of creatures out all in one turn, we've also got 3 Hulking Raptor in the 4-drop slot, because this can come down somewhat early. Sometimes it can come down super early if you have the right sort of mana ramp and fixing going. But comes down as a 5/3 Ward 2, really hard for your opponent to deal with the first turn it's down. A little bit later in the game, they can deal with it pretty effectively, but that Ward 2 helps protect it, at least for one turn cycle. And then at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you get 2 green added to your pool. And getting extra green from the Raptor, in conjunction with like maybe mana from Trailblazer, or maybe cost reduction from Raging Battlemouse, or some of the other things that we've talked about, sometimes you can go over the top and play Terror and a hard-casted creature from your hand in the same turn, not to mention whatever you have plotted. So I think Hulking Raptor is another important card to just make sure we get to that 5 mana for Terror, while also potentially enabling a second spell from our hand the same turn we cast it, which is really important. It's also going to trigger our Trailblazer and draw us cards. It's a good copy target for Visage Bandit. It kind of just does everything we want to do. So 3 Hulking Raptors, and then we've got 1 each of 2 different Planeswalkers. One being Lukka, because it can come down as early as turn 4 and then uptick to make us mana for creatures, which is one of the things we're trying to make sure we can do here. But it also could just downtick to make 3/3 beasts, which is fine. If you have a Terror or 2 on the battlefield, you can just do 3 or 6 damage to the head without spending any mana. It's another way to do that outside of plotting, to get those triggers without spending mana. So both of those abilities are going to be really good. And then, you know, the -4 gives you some removal options as well, because the deck is a little bit light on removal, but between Terror and Lukka, we've got just enough to get by. And then we've got 1 Oko the Ringleader, which I think actually works really well in this deck. It lines up super well, because it can come down for 4. This is a brand new Planeswalker from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, 3 loyalty. At the beginning of combat on your turn, it becomes a copy of up to 1 target creature you control, except it also has hexproof. So what you can do is play this on 4, and then when you have 5 mana and play your Terror, Oko, when you move to combat, it can become a copy of the Terror. And not only is it another Terror for that turn that you didn't spend any mana that turn, so you save all of your mana, you played your Terror with your mana, and Oko still became a copy that same turn, but it can swing in with flying immediately because it was already on the battlefield for a whole turn cycle, so it doesn't have summoning sickness. It's a way to get in for an extra 5 damage, and then enable second main phase. Whatever creatures you cast from exile with plot now have 2 Terrors to trigger. So there's a lot of ways in this deck to sneakily make multiple Terrors or get multiple Terror triggers, and to speed out, to ramp into being able to do that kind of stuff, and Oko fits that bill perfectly. Not only that, but again, just like Lukka, it can spit out 3/3s, can trigger your Terrors with those for just 1 downtick, and has some other loyalty abilities here for some versatility, can uptick to draw some cards, can -5 to make a copy of each non-land permanent you control, which, if you do ever get to that ultimate, is absolutely insane in this deck, because you're copying the Terror, and you're copying the Trailblazer, and you're copying everything else, and it can just be an auto win right then and there. So deck's kind of bananas. We had to be very careful with the mana base, so we have almost all duels except for just 1 forest, and we split them in a very specific way so that we have enough fast lands to make sure we always have an untapped land to play on too, while also keeping our pain land count to a minimum and keeping our potential to draw into 4th and 5th lands that are going to come into play untapped, you know, the slow lands like Rockfall Vale and Stormcarved Coast. So the lands are very specific. They're included in the deck list in the description. This is the deck. I had a ton of fun with it. I think it can get even better, but I think this version is pretty close to the end version that it wants to be, and it's just insane. The deck's crazy. It does its thing. Let's check out the games. All right, this looks great. We're going to keep it. You guys ready for how crazy this is going to be? All we need is Doc to survive. If Doc survives, this is going to be absolutely bananas. He might just cut it down, or he might want to get a creature on the field. No! Damn it! It was going to be really, really crazy. Like, really, really crazy. Well, we'll do that. We'll play another Doc Aurlock. And, we'll plot this for 1. We could also play a Trailblazer to plot a Bandit if we wanted to, which would be kind of cool. You know what? Let's do that. Let's play the first one. Aw, that's sad. Okay, fine. We wasted it. And the bitter triumph. Still think we're okay. Plots for 2, plots for 3, plots for 3. Let's just do this. We're just going to plot everything. That's how you beat control. Just plot everything and then play it all on the same turn. We could play the Terror of the Peaks. We could. But he clearly wants to do a thing, right? Well, let's try. Let's try. Wash away. Fine. We'll plot this. It's gonna Siphon Insight us. He's gotta be running out of counterspells though, right? One blue mana to counter a plot spell seems pretty good though. Hulking Raptor. Now we have another Terror. Take 5. And then we have a Tumbleweed. Take 10. We won. Goodbye, control. The Dark Phoenix, not just a Dark Phoenix. I guess we try to keep this. It's weird though. Dude, that horse is so annoying. We'll start with a coast, because it's not a pain land. We're going to plot Coyote on 2. Unless we draw something better. That would be a no. And then we plot Trailblazer on 3. And then on turn 4, if we don't get a 4th land, we can go Trailblazer, Raptor, Coyote, swing. we'll just do this. Pass turn. Hulking Raptor has been really good for us, so that was a pretty good addition. I'm glad I thought of it. Jitsu. Draw 2, discard 1. And then what? Replay the Steam Core Scholar? Yeah. All of that is fine. You discarded a Go for the Throat. And then 2 lands. Smash! Welcome to Earth. We really need a Dock Aurlock, don't we? Yeah, we need a Dock Aurlock. This card is so good. I love it so much. Kind of reminds me of Kamano Faces Kakazan. Because, like, that's a card that you play, and then a couple turns later, you actually get the creature. And it always feels really good. You get such a big turn when it flips. Trailblazer kind of feels the same way. Alright, has to spend literally everything on killing that. Let's see. We'll just play this, because it draws us 2 cards. No tax. We'll keep our Trailblazers and draw a whole bunch of cards, thank you very much. That's the metagame challenge striker. They'll be doing one of those now that Outlaws is out. It'll probably be like a week or 2 after the set has launched. Played the Steam Core Scholar. But we have better board presence and more cards in hand because of the Trailblazers. They're just nuts, man. They're so good. There we go. That's what we needed. Would you like to double block, sir? We could play Bandit, draw 2, make a mana. Bandit, draw 3, make a mana. Have 5 cards in our hand. Have 9 mana. Play out all the cards in our hand, then play Cunning Coyote and give our biggest thing haste. Sounds about right. We could have a really big turn if he doesn't kill our Trailblazers. Just gonna mill. Oh, man. Those are all terrors that we were gonna draw into. Damn. That would have been so good. It's okay, though. It'll still be good. Give me everything. I want everything. Give me everything. Dude, I'm so mad. I said give me everything. Thank you. I finally have a terror. Can't really do much with it. I have 6 mana. I think maybe we just win. I think maybe we just win. Let's just do it again. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's a lot of cards. It's a lot of cards. It's a very lot of cards. Let's play this. Do that. Do this. That's a lot of Trailblazers, dude. You can't even see them all. Hold on, I got this. Good God. We didn't even need the terror. Who needs it? Alright, we'll keep this. We'll start with a Cascade into a Gorge. And try to break out. All right, we're gonna break out. Break out. Grab a Cunning Coyote, I guess. Why not? Swing 2. It's not what we wanted. But at least we're 6 cards closer to a Doc Aurlock. That can't be awful, right? Sure. Hello. Could I take my turn, please? Thank you. Alright. Bandit's in play. No attack, because he'll block with the schooner. Forensic Researcher. Ooh, that's pretty good, actually. With Merfolk combo. All right. Trailblazer could draw us cards. But honestly, Hulking Raptor just seems incredible. No attacks. So that's what? 8 mana next turn? Show me what you've got. I will take the 3, my friend. That's a lot of mana. That's 9. So 5, 6, 7, 8. We'd be left with 1. And we'd get 1. I have 2 mana that we can't use. We could Lukka for 4. Uptick for 2. Put us at 7. Trailblazer to get us from 4 to 5, and then play Terror of the Peaks. I guess that's probably the best bet. Counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 2. So I guess we don't get to Terror the Peaks if we do that. Alright, we might as well pay, because we're going to be upticking Lukka to give us 2 mana anyway, right? Sure. Do we get mana for Outcaster Trailblazer now? Or does it make more sense can't be used to plot? I think we need to go wide with blockers. No attacks. We just need to survive. Right, Bo? Bo knows. Can we? Can we survive? Not tapping anything down with the forensic researcher. Okay. None of that really matters. We don't want our raptors to die, so they will block the things they can. Got no more mana left over. So we could double block here and go to 2. The problem is that means we can't use our pain lands. I think it's probably better to just do this, honestly. Okay, we have 7 mana, 9 mana, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14. Take 14 to cast everything. We get 1 from the Trailblazer, 2 from the Lukka, that's 3, that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're still short. How badly do we need the Cunning Coyote to win here?
Power is mine for the taking.
No, it used our red. Damn it. Had a feeling that was going to happen. So 4. Still not quite enough, is it? Oh wait, yeah, we get a red from the Trailblazer. Go to 1. We hit for 6. We draw. We could swing, but we need to block. So no attacks. Frickadellis. It's 5 attackers. It's not enough, right? me all the green. Thank you. Take 5. Two. Haste. Make a dude. Hit for 6. Lights out. Lights out. Gorilla radio. We'll keep because we're on the draw. We're gonna hope we get lucky and top deck an untapped land. We won't. We don't get more than 2 lands anyway. Why would we? Oh my god. We actually got it. Breakout. Dock. Cool. I like swinging with the dock too because there's less of a chance they use their removal on it if it can't block them, typically. Oh god, what are they going to take? They have to take a Trailblazer, right? Unless they don't realize. If they take a Breakout, they're big dumb. If they take Terror even, they're still kind of big dumb. Okay. I think we're gonna break out and then plot the Trailblazer. Trailblazer. Gotta hit the Terror now, right? Everything else is way too damaging. You didn't hit the Terror? Are you out of your mind? This dude's out of his mind. Plot this. Play this for free. Add a green. Plot this. Is it better to make another Trailblazer on his turn or on our turn? Screw it, we're doing it on our turn. Draw a card, we make a mana that we can't use. Unfortunately. Swing in. And next turn is disgusting. Next turn is absolutely gross. Yeah. About that. Red. red, terror, Tumbleweed Rising. Oh my god. Alright, we'll keep 7. We're gonna start with the Vale. Does our 𝐾𝐷𝐿 survive? Probably not. In fact, I'm kind of tempted to just wait until next turn to play it so that we at least get some value off of it. Let's just plot this. We want to plot the Terror, I think. Right? So we're gonna go green. Pass turn. Does he kill the 𝐾𝐷𝐿? We will find out. If he doesn't, he is in for a rude awakening next turn. I mean, that's fine. We get to replay it. That seems great. We'll just do that. Alright, get lost, sit. You used to use 2 removal spells on the same card. That's pretty rad. So we'll start with Breakout. Grab. I guess we probably want the Terror, right? And then we'll plot Bandit. And now we just wait for him to tap out, and then we kill him. Because he can't stop it. Go ahead. Come on. Show me. He's just gonna scoop. He sees it all coming. I cannot start with an opening hand that has more than 2 lands unless I mulligan into it. It's just like, it's crazy. So we're gonna have to break out to try to find our 𝐾𝐷𝐿. But even then, we don't really have any plot cards in our hand. Turn 3. Turn 3? There's no way this doesn't get banned. I actually feel really bad for people. The people that are running it. There's no way. There's no way this doesn't get banned. Not a chance in hell. which is kind of a bummer because I think it's a really cool card and I want to brew around it. This will 100% get banned. Alright, we'll keep this. We'll start with the coast. Hello, MTG Arena player. He is apparently an MTG Arena player. Unbelievable. We'll play the dock. That'll at least let us plot the Coyote and play Breakout next turn, which is kind of cool. Of course, he'll probably take one of those. Unless he just sees Oko and goes, oh no, Oko. And doesn't really think about how we can line things up. Hey, that's what he did. Would you look at that? Breakout. Do we plot it or do we play it? I guess we probably just play it, right? No, we don't even need to. We'll need to double spell next turn in order to get Terror. So, we're gonna plot it. And we're gonna swing. If he wants to give us back our Oko, that's fine. Alright, put him to 16. Mostly, although the Shuffler has been literally hating us ever since we built this deck. This deck has just been sheer hatred. +1. Swing. Yeah, the set is so awesome. It's only the Shuffler that I hate right now. But the set is amazing. Cuts down the dock Aurlock, that's fine. You gotta have removal for the Terror too, right? No, but he hits my Visage Bandit. Tumbleweed Rising. Give me back my bandit. Jerk. Give me back my bandit. I would like Oko as well. I'll just get Oko next turn. Oop, he got a cut down. Don't know what that's going to do for him right now with Terror of the Peaks, though. The Shuffler has been god-awful. There's so many new bugs. The Shuffler has been weird. Sideboards are bugged out now. We'll make another Terror and kill the Deep Cavern Bat. Alright, we'll keep this. We literally have all of our slow lands, which is fucking hilarious. It's like no matter what I do, the Shuffler just like won't let me play. Just won't let me play. It's crazy. It's so crazy. Blue. plot the Trailblazer. Seems really good. Trailblazer is so good, Striker. This is one of the best cards in the set. Probably the biggest sleeper, to be honest. March, my dude? That was pretty rude, dude. Pretty rude, dude. Pretty rude, dude. But can he kill the raptor? If we top deck a land, we can Terror and dock Aurlock. No land. No land. Do we just want a Terror? We have 6 mana. Screw it. Draw a card. Play a land. No tax. We could swing in, lose our guy, but we're gonna get so much insane value next turn, it's like, it's not worth it. Legion to Ashes the Terror. So much mana. 8 mana. Alright, that makes things pretty easy then. Plot. Plot. Draw. Alright, baby. We're in it to win it. Do your worst. Do your worst, Victor. Trade with our Hulking Raptor? Sure. We got a whole lot of pain coming next turn. We don't even need Dock Aurlock anymore. Oh my god. We can't cast both. Oh my god, dude. Take 2. Haste. Smash. Good night, Victor. We will keep this. Start with the Cascade. Alright, Dock Aurlock. See if he's got the removal. Yeah, I've been back for 3 hours, Foozy. I've been back for 3 hours. Swing. Do you have removal? Well, we already did the thing, so it doesn't even matter. Thank you for the map tokens. Cage is welcome. Alright, we will break out. That's tempting. That is so tempting. We're gonna grab Raging Battlemouse for sure. Another terror. Sick. End the turn. Probably actually should have bottomed the terror, right? What you got, Wastelander? I guess we got salt, huh? I guess we got a whole lot of salt. I am back, but my opponent doesn't want to play with me. We were gonna play the Cunning Coyote for free, and then because we played a spell, our second spell will cost 1 less, so we can play the Hulking Raptor for only 3. And then we can play... Oh, there we go. Then we play the Visage Bandit copying the Hulking Raptor. And then our board is absolutely insane. Swing 7. And you can't trade with anything. Alright, next turn I think we just win. Terror of the Peaks leaves us 2 mana and 1 cost reduction to play a 3-drop after Terror of the Peaks if we want. If we top deck 1. Which is why we should have bottomed to the 3rd. Oh man. That's so close. We are so close to being able to play. Oh, we don't have double red? Oh, shit. I didn't realize we don't have double red. Breakout. So we can't even play a terror. That's crazy. I did not realize that. Well, I guess we're just swinging. We have 17 red sources in the deck. And some cards that can generate red mana for us, so like... It's definitely not a problem with the lands. He must have a Sunfall, right? If that's how he's blocking. Come on, 1 red source. problem is, too, if we top deck a red source, then we don't have a non-red thing to cast with all of our extra mana to trigger the terror. We just need a whole bunch of red mana. And we don't got it. Just gonna plot the Tumbleweed Rising. He'll eat a Hulking Raptor, I think. No, he's gonna make a 2/2? Wow, that's so greedy. I guess he wanted to draw a card off of 𝐾𝐲𝐻𝐿. But man, that is so greedy. He could have spent the extra 2 mana paying the ward and eating a raptor and gaining 2 life.
Keep watch for intruders.
Alright, he scoops it up. 100%. I guarantee it. I'm willing to bet whatever. Alright, we're going to start with the Rockfall Vale, right? For those of you just joining me, this is my second brew for Outlaws of Thunder Junction. The first brew was a Mount Tribal deck using Roaming Throne and Calamity and Caustic Bronco and Seraphic Steed. It was 4 colors and it worked because of all the tribal lands. Roaming Throne and Delny. Thing is insane. It's on the YouTube right now. So if you guys want to see that deck, it's bananas. It's 4 colors. It works super consistently. That one's called Mount the World. It's named after Game of Thrones. This is deck 2. This is a plot-based Terror of the Peaks deck with Doc Aurlock. And the idea is, if they don't kill the Doc, on turn 3 we can plot 3 cards in 1 turn. Because Doc reduces the cost of all of them by 2. But of course he's going to play Annex Sentry, so that will not be happening. It's okay though, because we got another one. And then we get to plot the Trailblazer for just 1. Sometimes it's actually worth it. If we didn't have the 2 Docs there, I might have just waited until turn 3, because you can at least get the cost reduction that once before they remove it. Do what we just did. That's a lot. That is a lot, my friend. Let's see. We're going to make green, I think. Then we're going to just play this and make a 4/4. And draw a card off Trailblazer. I guess we could do it again, right? Just shore up our defenses. Now we have to make sure we can block. There's another Rot Priest. Ooh. That might just do us in. It might just do us in, guys. It might. Hopefully not. Alright, I think we're going for a combo kill here. We could Hulking Raptor, right? That might actually be better. It's possible that we top deck a land off this. Well, it is a land. Not a very effective land. No attacks. We need to block everything. So we're gonna have 7 mana next turn. I lied. We have 8 mana. Can we play a couple different things? Maybe? Let's do this. We'll kill the Rot Priest. We'll give the Terror haste. We'll swing in with just the Terror. And then, unless he can give us 5 poison counters this turn, I think we'll actually win. Jawbone Duelist. Man, we just keep top decking lands, huh? So that's another 2 to the Rot Priest. We play the Tumbleweed Rising, do 5 damage, draw a card off Trailblazer. And our opponent's gonna scoop. That seems fine. We'll try to make this work. Let's see what happens. Rockfall Vale. Gorge, Breakout. No dock, but we can at least grab a Cunning Coyote. Really need to top deck something. I will take it. Swing. Five, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5. Probably not good enough then, huh? Let's see what we can do here. Red. Terror the Peaks. Leyline. We still get to draw a card, which is sick. Swing 2. Archangel, but doesn't get to do a thing. Draw a card. Man, that draw a card ability is nuts. Is he gonna Sunfall? No, he plays Spelunking. think it's better to play the Raptor, because then we can play 2 things next turn. Take 5. Sure. Swing for 7. Put you at 8. He definitely got lethal next turn. He needs to Sunfall, right? He's got to be able to, though. No, just miss him. Okay, so we win. It's 9 mana. Bandit copying terror. Good night. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. I'd like to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons over at Patreon. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, so honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your contributions. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe. The more likes we get and the quicker we get them, the bigger this channel will grow and the faster it will grow. I'd love nothing more than this channel to become something very special for you guys, but it's entirely up to you how fast that happens. Also, if you'd like more deck text, that's somewhere over there. And if you'd like to see what else the channel's been up to lately, that's somewhere up that way. Also, subscribe, circle below, do all the things.